Welcome back to Jeff Willett's Muscle Hub, the home of my weekly Q&A show and all of my YouTube videos. We're going to do things a little bit different this week. I'm going to start selecting questions from viewers, and I'm going to announce the name of who submitted the question. And in order to partake in that, if you want to send questions to me, you can send them through Facebook or Twitter or YouTube, and you can hashtag them, hashtag AskJW. So question number one comes from Daniel G, and this came through email. Daniel wants to know, what should you do if you stop experiencing muscle soreness after a workout? Well, the reality is muscle soreness is not an indicator of overload success. So if you're not sore after a workout, that's not a problem, and you shouldn't train for the specific reason to try to achieve soreness. So I guess the answer is you should do nothing. Just keep executing the max fatigue principles, and again, don't try to think of soreness as a gauge or indicator of overload success, because it is not. Question two comes to us from Christian Phelps, and this came through Facebook. He's interested in competing one day, and the main reservation is the dedication to the competition mindset. And his diet is fine, he says, but he would really wants to know, to take that step further, how do you really cope with the cravings and get that competition mindset to cope with the cravings? And this still goes back to really connecting to the vision of what you want to achieve. When you get ready for a contest, you have an end date that should be about 20 weeks away. And you got to create this very powerful and strong vision of what you want to achieve 20 weeks from there. So you got to be able to set a long-term goal. And every day you got to realize, you've heard me say this before, but it's so true. The actions and the decisions that you make from the time you get up to the time you go to bed, every single one of them is either going to take you closer to achieving that vision, or it's going to take you further away. So one key to getting that mindset is connecting to that vision and making the correct decisions along the way. That's more the mental side. Now, a strictly functional side to help with the cravings, again, things like diet drinks, diet pop, coffee, tea, any no-calorie thing. And coffee is great as long as you're not adding, calories to it with creamers and so forth. And then gum and drinking a lot of fluids. All those things will help you with the cravings. So that from the more functional side, and then again from the mental side, connect to the vision of what you want to achieve. Question three comes from Andrew James, and this came to us through YouTube. It says, when you've been dieting for several weeks, is losing a little bit of strength part of the process, or is this a sign that you're cutting too much? You really shouldn't, if you're doing everything right, this program, everything works synergistically, from the weight training approach to the cardio to the nutrition. They're all working together, and every part of that is working to help you build and maintain muscle through this process. You're doing a lot of things right. So you really shouldn't experience any loss in strength for a long way into the process. So you don't want to talk yourself into getting weaker just because you're starting a diet. There's this notion that, well, I'm dieting, so I'm going to get weak. Not if you're doing things right. Yeah, if you do a bunch of goofy stuff like long duration cardio and cardio on an empty stomach and high reps and yanking out all your carbohydrates and dramatic drops in calories, if you do all those things, you are setting yourself up to waste muscle and could potentially lose strength. If you're doing these principles and you're executing them by the letter, your strength should be fine. So remind yourself when you go into that workout, hey, the muscle didn't go anywhere, so your strength isn't going to go anywhere. And all you need is short bites of intensity for that workout. And then you also, to help you, bring the workout down to set by set execution. Don't try to digest the whole workout. You only need to be strong for that one set and those 4 to 6 reps on that one set. So really, the answer is, if you're doing everything right, doing all these principles, you should have very little strength loss. Now, when you're shifting the pendulum all the way to maximum fat burning and you get deep into the preparation, like say maybe 6 weeks or so, then I think it's reasonable to think you're not going to lose strength, but I don't think you're working to probably increase every week. And then there comes a point where you really don't want to risk injury that deep into it, so you're probably going to more maintain strength and work more toward that 6 range. But again, that's very, very, very deep into it. So early on, be strong, powerful, and execute all the principles, and muscle loss, strength loss will be at a very, very minimum. Question 4 is from Jeremiah Johnson. This came through YouTube. Jeremiah wants to know, belt or no belt? When I first started training, I wore a belt for everything, and I really didn't know why. But once I met Paul Cribb, who I respect very much in the industry, said, really, there's no need to really wear a belt on most lifts because you really want your core strength and development to improve anyway. So I stopped wearing a belt on everything with the exception of heavy squats and heavy deadlifts. And the belt for those helps keep your inner abdominal pressure tight, helps support your spine, and for me, it gave me confidence doing those heavy lifts. And thinking back about that belt, it really made me nostalgic, and I wish I had that old belt so I could show it to you. Oh, there it is. The very belt that I wore through the core of my career. This belt and I saw a lot of heavy sets on squats and on deadlifts. Man, all the memories. Well, we don't need the belt anymore. Let's go on to question number 5. And I'm sorry if I kind of butchered this name a little bit, but it comes from Lucas G, and it comes from YouTube. And he wants to know, what is your favorite workout routine that you've done over the years? There's a lot of different Max OT routines I've done, and they're all effective as long as you're adhering to the right Max OT principles. But if I had to lean on one, it would be the routine that I followed for the last several cycles, multiple cycles leading up to my championships in 2003. And this routine is available on jeffwillet.com. If you click on the Training and Nutrition tab and you scroll down, you'll see at the bottom it says Jeff Willet Max OT Workout. You click on it and you'll get this workout. But what it was day 1 was back and traps, day 2 was chest, day 3 was legs and calves, day 4 was biceps, triceps, and forearms, and day 5 was abs and shoulders. And again, if you want to see this exact example, you can go to my website and you can actually bring this up and follow exactly what I would consider one of my favorite Max OT arrangements. So remember now to go ahead and submit your questions for the next episodes, and you can do so through Facebook, through Twitter, or through YouTube, and you can hashtag AskJW. Well, thank you all for tuning in. Now let's go out and execute.